And I said, how much does it pay?
Hmm.
Well, you're going to get a SAG daily and bumps and blah, blah, blah. I said, okay. Well, I needed the money, right?
Sure. Yeah, sure.
Wasn't, I didn't realize what that movie was going to do. I'm going to be honest with you.
Hey guys, welcome to part two of my interview with Jeff Langton. Make sure to check out the first part linked in the description below. But in this one, Jeff does a really great job of transporting us back into that world of the 80s and 90s with all this in depth stuff, all the little details, auditioning for Lionheart, getting the part, and then the whole experience of what happened after that. Fun stories related to Van Damme, Frank Dux, Sheldon Lettich, and many others. So if you like this kind of content, because I don't think you're going to get this kind of in depth stuff anywhere else, really behind the scenes stuff, right? Hit the like button, subscribe, and share the video. How'd you get involved in Lionheart? We got to talk about that. So,
Oh, okay. Well, I know Frank Dukes and I love the guy. The guy's probably one of the sweetest guys in the world. The guy helped me.
mhm.
And I like your cat.
Oh, yeah,
That's a
yeah. I
beautiful
bet
cat.
Frank Dukes likes my cat too.
I guess we got, I don't have to be, I guess we like cats.
Yeah.
But so how that happened was Frankie, as I call him, he said, hey, Jeff, I have a audition with JC. I said, JC. Because me and JC, we butted heads a little bit, but that's not true. And
Oh, I heard about that. So you basically used to train or actually taught people even at like Frank Dukes's dojo back in the day, right?
yes, I did.
That's cool.
Frank Dukes. So the story starts like this: is that they have what they call a drama log, and Frank Dukes had an ad in the drama log. It said, "Become a stunt man. Come down to my stunt school." And it was, reasonable. So I called him on the phone. This is like what 45 years ago, 43 years
That
ago.
was a while ago.
And so I drove down there, and basically he said, "Hey, I like your portfolio, and you're with Ernie Reyes, and I heard about you." And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "How would you like to teach at my school?"
Okay.
And I said, "How about I teach at your school and you teach me how to be stunts?"
Hmm.
And he goes, "Yeah." And he goes, "I'm with this guy named Hubie Kearns." Now, this is a piece of history, y'all. Hubie Kearns was the double for Adam West in the Batman. He's the one that did all the driving. He did all the fight work. And Hubie was a very instrumental man in my life. He started training me, and with Frank Dukes. Frank Dukes is very good with the lenses.
Okay.
He's very good with the camera. That's why Lionheart looks so good, is because Frank, his influence with the camera and Sheldon and you know,
Oh, really?
um,
So Frank actually gave insight on the technical aspects on like
yes,
some of the show. Oh, that's
yes.
interesting.
Frank is Frank's from Canada, but people don't even know. And Frank was up there, and he was part of the Canadian stuntmen up there in Canada. And Frank is very knowledgeable. He's a very good writer, and should get more credit where credit's due. But that's another whole topic. But Frank, um, basically, took me in. I trained at his school a little while. I didn't know much about the guy at that time.
Yeah, sure.
He used to basically disappear. Like he would go places, and and he'd leave me. Hey Jeff, will you teach the class? And I said, okay. And I teach boxing. I said, well, I don't know this. Whatever it was, a ninjutsu, is that what he teaches? And then Duke's ninjutsu. And
Dux-Ryu,
I didn't
yeah.
know anything about it, but to me, it looked like Shotokan karate because and it looked like martial arts to me. And I said, oh, I could teach the kicks and the tumbling. I knew all that stuff. So I said, okay. So then he would disappear, and I thought that was very odd that he
You
would
never found
disappear.
out where he went or what he did, though.
Well, he told me that he was going down to Nicaragua.
Oh, okay.
He told me that, and I'll say right now that these guys these guys were in the gym and they were Nicaraguan soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
And they were learning. I guess they came from Nicaragua to learn this ninjutsu stuff. And I talked. At that time I didn't. I'm very fluent in Spanish, but I mean I understood what they were saying, but I didn't really understand like the way I can converse now with the Spanish.
Yeah.
Um, but they just wanted to learn like disarmaments. They wanted to learn how to evade, like roll away, how to tumble. It's just that kind of basic kind of training, David.
Yeah, that's interesting. And this was like before Bloodsport ever came out, right? Or was it after Bloodsport?
Before
Okay, so it's not like they knew who Frank was
I
because of
met
the movie.
Jean-Claude when Jean-Claude was sleeping in his car.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. You
Matter
hear
of fact,
stories
I think
about
that he
that. You don't
slept.
know if they're
I think that
exaggerated or not, but I guess it's true. He was actually homeless.
yeah, he was him and
Wow.
Michelle.
Wow.
That's that. They'll tell you that's the truth. I mean, I'm a witness
Hmm.
because my car is right next to theirs.
You guys camping out in the street together.
We didn't have no place. I mean, he had his little car back then, and then but he lived up the street on there on Riverside,
Hmm.
and then him and Michelle got a place. Michelle became like one of my best friends. He's a sweetheart. Matter of fact, he's the rock behind JC. There's
The
no
Rock.
question in my mind.
Just the big
But John,
support.
JC, that guy had nothing but tenacity, brother. I mean, he was destined to do what he did,
Hmm.
and I'm a witness to that being alive today.
That's cool. Yeah, you were there
Yes,
before he was Van Damme, basically. Didn't he used to go? I think his headshot he used to go by a name of like Frank something instead of Jean-Claude back in the day, I heard. I don't know if you know
I
anything
never
about
heard
that because
that.
he wanted to be more like American and thought that would actually help him. But little did he know the French or Belgian thing is actually the thing that kind of helped him.
That's the first time I never heard him as Frank. There was only
Interesting.
one Frank Dux. Come on, man. You can't have two Frank Dukes unless he has his double. And
Well, that's a
Frank,
whole other story.
sometimes when I see Frank, I got to ask him some questions. Only Jeff
Only the
Langton
real
would
Dukes would
understand that.
know.
But that's just a joke. But Jean Claude, because everyone, I mean, your channel, you guys really like him, and I do too. Just a little sidebar story. Years later, when I had my daughter Paulina, um, my daughter watched a movie where he played the clown. I think it was in The Quest,
Oh,
right?
the Quest, yeah, sure. He was like
Yeah,
a
my
mime
daughter liked
clown,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, because her dad was a clown sometimes. That was a professional clown, by the way. People don't know that.
Oh,
A real professional clown, ride a unicycle, all that stuff. But
wow.
anyway, so she liked the clowns, and she said, "I want to meet that clown, Daddy." And I said, "Okay." So we went down. Jean Claude used to hang out at Cafe Roma,
Mhm.
and I went down and I seen him, and we got to know each other. I say, "Hey, JC, my daughter wants to meet you," and he goes, "Oh, okay. When do you want to see me?" And I said, "Next Wednesday." He says, "Next Wednesday, I'll be here." Took my daughter down. He was there.
Nice.
He gave my daughter a kiss and gave her some ice cream. And he's a stand-up guy, man. I knew him before he had, he used to have a white truck,
Mm.
and he used to ride around in the truck. And then when after I stopped going to Frank's school, I went to Benny the Jets, and he used to come by Benny the Jets and visit me all the time. And he used to have a little dog. I can't remember the dog's name, but he used to have that white truck. And then he had I guess it was his first son, was Christopher, I think it was. And he married a lady by the name of Gladys Portuguese,
Hmm.
and she was a bodybuilding champion. And I
Yeah.
met her because we worked out at the Woodland Hills club, and I met her a couple times, and she was a bodybuilder. But Jean Claude used to work out at this gym with this. I don't know if he was European, like from, I don't know what country it was, but the guy took him in, and it was an incredible gym. They had like a lot of old equipment, and Jean Claude, he used to like the cables. He used to enjoy working with the cables.
Hmm.
And he said that got brought more of his, and I said, okay, cool. And Michelle was training there with him. But I don't remember that. I think his name was Frank. That guy was named Frank, actually. Yes. Maybe that's what you were talking about.
Oh, or
And
maybe
that
that's
just
where he
came
got
to
the
my
idea
mind.
for the name. Let me
Huh?
ask you this, man. So when Jean-Claude went down to the Jet Center where you were at, obviously Benny the Jet's training center with guys like Don Wilson and everybody in the kickboxing world training. Did Jean-Claude train with you guys, or did he just visit you and chat, or did he actually train with you guys there?
Um, I don't recall. I don't recall him. He did train down there, but he came in the back to lift the weights with me, and he liked to stretch all the time. He's always into stretching. And at that time I was a gymnast. I mean, I had the same, flexibility he did. So I mean, we stretch a little bit, talk. Mostly he talked about is what he wanted to do. Because he already did no Suri, no
No
Turi.
retreat, no surrender. Yeah.
He did that one, and he did blood. And he said, "Hey, I want to do a bigger movie." And I told him, I said, "Dude, man, you got such a heavy accent. You gotta. I go to some acting schools."
Hmm.
And I think he took that advice. I think he went to some speech because he started articulating better as time went on.
Hmm.
And then the thought is that he really, I mean, a guy that he was definitely that guy didn't have. I mean, he didn't have nothing to where he's at now. It's incredible
Yeah.
for that Hollywood story. You know what
Oh
I'm
yeah,
saying?
sure. That's a story, no doubt. It's quite something. But your story is very interesting too. So you auditioned for Lionheart. There was like 1,000 people there, right? Didn't you take a bunch of guys from the Jet Center with you, like Billy
Oh,
Blanks and all
okay.
these other
So
guys,
yeah,
Sash
yeah. So
Williams, etc.?
yeah, so okay, I'll tell you that story. So hey, we had this on tape, might as well. So I had an orange Volkswagen van that I was sleeping in at the time,
Hmm.
and so I had the Weaver triplets, those three black guys. They were triplets. I had them. I had a guy by the name of Billy Blanks.
Hmm.
Billy Blanks. I had a guy named Mark D'Alessandro, and I think I had Thunderwolf in the van too. I don't remember if I had Thunderwolf. But so I had all these guys in the van, and I said, we're going to go down and try out for this movie. They called it Wrong Bet or something. Wrong, I don't know, wrong. I thought it was
Yeah,
Wrong
that was one of the
Direction.
titles. They call that in some countries still. That's what the movie's known as. But obviously in US it's Lionheart. But yeah, same movie. It's so many different, 5 different titles, I think.
Yeah, so it was something like that. And so it was down on Coldwater. Frank had his school. And we went down there, and then Michelle was like, so you went up there, and Jean-Claude was there actually too. So
Mhm.
we had a reunion. I said, "Hey, brother, how you doing?" Blah blah blah. French people, they kiss each other on the cheek, so they kissed me on both my cheeks, and then that's the way they do. See, parlez-vous français? Comment ça va? I live with a French family, so I understand a little bit of it. So I speak a little bit of that. I'm not fluent as much as in Spanish. So we said that, and Sheldon had all the lights up, and we went out there, and the Weaver Triplets got up, and they did their boxing. And then Billy went up and he did his thing because me and Billy used to train together and at his garage with Mac, the guy from
Oh yeah,
uh,
Barry Gordy's The Last Dragon.
yeah, yeah. So he used to train with Billy. Billy trained him, and like Billy says that's another story. But anyway, getting back to the Lionheart movie. So Jean-Claude, he trained us, and I mean he auditioned us. I mean, and I got up and I said I'm this and that. I did some kung fu and some boxing, and then Michelle, we moved around. And then we sparred a little bit, was moving around. And then Sheldon said, "Thank you very much." And I just left and I got all the guys. Then Billy kind of got into it with Michelle. It got a little heated there.
You mean just when they were sparring, they got a little
Yeah, they
heated?
got a little, they got a little heated. They got started escalating. And then, Sheldon cut it. And then, Billy, we're driving back, no Billy, I was cracking up with Billy. Billy probably hate me for telling him, but Billy wanted to go back, and he wanted to Billy. Billy was he was a badass guy. That's why it escalated. Michelle was a boxer. He's a boxer. Put two tigers in the cage there, but it was all good. They became friends, and Billy got in the movie. Every one of the guys that I took, except for the Weaver triplets, got parts in that movie.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so when did you find out? Like you left, you did your audition, you left. When did you find out you actually got the part?
So it's like about, I think it was like 2 weeks later. Back then we didn't have cell phones, we had pagers. And I got a page, and they said that I know it was a production company. Let me see, what was the name of it? Imperial Entertainment, was it, David?
Yeah.
It was Imperial. Yeah, they called up and they said, "Is this Mr. Langton, Jeff Langton?" I said, "Yes." And they said, "Yes, you got the part of the New York City Street Fighter." And I said, "Oh, great." And they said, "You're going to be filming in Sherman Oaks. Can you be there?" And I said, "How much does it pay?" Well, you're going to get a SAG daily and bumps and blah blah blah. I said, "Okay." Well, I needed the money, right?
Sure. Yeah, sure.
Wasn't I didn't realize what that movie was going to do. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't know it. That's the whole story. But so I went there, and I went there that day, and the black vest I'm wearing in the movie, the person that gave that to me was Mickey Rourke. Gave me that
Oh,
vest.
really? That's his. That's hilarious.
Yeah, and I got the wristband. My daughter has that, the black wristband. And I didn't have any tattoos, and they painted that tattoo. And one of the scenes is, look, you can see kind of rubbed off. And they didn't do continuity. They're rushing. So I went and I did the movie. And so I went over to Frank. I said, what? All I was supposed to do was just fight Jean-Claude. And I said, well, come on, Frank, help me out here, man. So I had a roommate. His name was Satch Williams. Satch Williams was a black guy that I fought in the beginning.
Yeah, sure.
And then, so we do the thing. And so me and Frank, I said, hey, Frank, we started talking back and forth. I said, hey, I want to say, hey, cause I say, hey, you're kind of pretty. I don't know if I want to fight you.
Well, fuck you. Ooh, funny.
Or, what I'm saying. I don't want to curse on the show. And so he goes, yeah, that's a great idea. But hey, so when you fight the black guy, we turn him around, you kick him in the balls. Frank came up with this. He said, let's do lunch sometime. I said, Frank, come on, man. He goes, no, just do it, Jeff. I said, okay, fine.
Come on, let's do lunch sometime.
So I kick him in the balls, and then that's how it led into Jean-Claude. So we shot that. I think it was like 2 days. I think we had rehearsal. Then we shot the next day and another day, and then the same day I shot the scene. We had a big fight scene with Jean-Claude, but they canceled it. And Jean-Claude said, hey, I'm going to do a roundhouse kick and hit you in the nuts. And I said, I got to get the same money. I got to get out of here early. So I did it. And then when I got in my van, after all the hoopla and everything, I started thinking, I said, let's let this guy punch me in my nuts. I said, hey man, when people see this, man, I didn't think that this French guy kicked my ass. So I'm driving out of the garage, and I go to the payphone, because payphone, call my mom, and I was in tears, man. I was in tears when I came out of the garage. Just let this guy, beat my ass. I didn't comprehend, I didn't comprehend, it's a movie.
Yeah.
You understand? You don't comprehend things like that. And so I called my mom and said, hey, I'm done with this stuff. I'm never gonna do this shit again. Bullshit. I'm gonna go be a mechanic like I always wanted to be. I wanted to be a Ferrari mechanic. That's what I really wanted to be. She says, oh, and I said, I don't really want to come back home. So I was going to go to New York, back to my aunt's. And I was going to go to Italy, and I wanted to be a Ferrari mechanic. That's what I wanted to be in my life.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So um, fast forward, let me try to, I'll tell you the story. So I go to they had these kickboxing from the Jazz, I train at the Jet Center, and they have these kickboxing bouts at the Jet Center. And Jean-Claude is there. And Jean-Claude goes, Jeff. I turn around and go, what's up, bro? He goes, we got to picked up. We got picked up. We got picked up.
We got picked
I
up.
said, who picked us up? You need to go to a looping. I go, what? Lou, what? I go, slow down, man. What are you talking about? He goes, you need to do looping. I don't even know what that is. You got to go see your lines, and they're gonna blah blah. And I'm saying, I don't understand. He was all like, he was all excited. He says, we got the picked up Universal, blah blah blah.
Yeah, I got big
And
deals.
I'm going like, he's like all excited. I'm saying like, hey man, I can understand what the hell you're saying, dude. Come back, hey, I'm saying in French, Brian. I understand you better if you're saying in French, JC. And so he goes, what's your number? I said, I go, do I have an impression of him? So so he gives me his number, I give it to him, and then they call me. So I go down to Universal. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the guy gets in there and he goes, you ever did looping before? I said, I don't even know what that is. I know what Fruit Loops are, though.
Mm-hmm.
He starts laughing. I always say stupid stuff. And he goes, okay, when the thing goes beep, beep, beep on the third beep, you say your lines. I said, well, what lines? He goes, well, we got to do the PG version and say, hey, you're kind of pretty. I don't know if I want to fight you or kiss you,
Yeah.
for PG back then.
Mm-hmm.
I said, that sounds like easy. I could do that. So I did. The first time I didn't do too well. And he goes, hey, can you, just think that you have them in front of you. Like, stand and think these in front of you. I go, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I did it. And then he said, hey, do the line, F you. And I did that. And so we were in there for about a couple hours, right, David? We were in there
Yeah.
for a couple hours. And then they said, okay, that's a wrap. I said, cool. Walk out of the place. I didn't think anything of it. So at the time, I was traveling from different place to different place. That's what actors do. In your life, you're broke, then you have money. So they sent the check. This is a true story. This will be in my book eventually. Um, so I get the check, and there's like it's a lot of zeros on the check. There's a lot
Nice.
of zeros. So I open up, and look at my eyes, and said, "Shit, man, they gave me this much. Like it's like like 6-7 grand or some shit like
Wow.
that. Some ridiculous amount of money." That's true. I don't care what Sheldon says. That's the truth. They gave me a lot of money. So I called. Over to Universal. Said the payroll department said, "Hey, listen, this is Jeff Langton. I did some looping over
Mm-hmm.
at." I said, "There's an enormous amount of money here," and I said, "Well, Miss Langton, how much is that?" And I told him, and then he said, "Yeah, no, that's how much it is." I said, so I went down and cashed the check.
Nice.
So now I could go down and get a steak dinner, someplace with some spaghetti, and I was flying high.
Mm-hmm.
So I go on and keep working out because listen, I have a saying, everybody's a has been, and I don't take this personal, everybody, but everyone's a has been. The day that they call rap on the thing, you're looking for another job. And I could go into another story why I say that. And basically, that's what I just like looking for another gig.
Mm-hmm.
So then I come home one day, and remember those answer machines with where they has like a tape?
Yeah, sure.
It has a tape in it.
Mm-hmm.
So I I come home and I see like 35, 40 messages. So yeah, my machine. I don't, people. I get maybe 2 or 3 calls a day, like 35 messages.
Wow.
Hi, this is Jimmy. I was your childhood friend. I just saw you on TV. Hey man, how you doing? Hey, this is Janelle. Hey Jeff, I just saw you. Hey, my mom was giving my phone number out to everybody.
Mm.
So I'm getting all these phone calls because I'm saying, what the hell are these people talking about, man? So I get So I go to flip on the TV, Lionheart, Jean-Claude Van Damme, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden I see me say, what the F? They're playing this thing, David, over and over and over. I said, damn, man, I'm all over the TV set. And I said, like, what the hell? So then fast forward, they called me up and they said, hey, we're gonna have a premiere of this. We want you there. I said, okay. So I get all the guys from the Jet Center. Everybody said anything. But I sit next to this guy named Jake. Jake was a professional boxing trainer. The guy looked like Billy. The guy was handsome, man. I mean, the guy was, he's sitting right next to me and I had all the other guys, So I start watching this thing and I'm saying, wow, this movie's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And then I come on and I said, gosh, darn, look how big my head is. And my head is huge. And my head took up like the whole screen. I started looking at my head and thinking, hey, look at my head. So the fight scene goes on. In a theater, it's like you can see everything, man. So I'm in a fight, my roommate Satch, and I go, Jesus Christ, Lord. And he said, man, this is really good. And then I walk out, the girl and this, and I walk out to Jean-Claude, I say the line, and everyone just went crazy in the theater.
Mm.
I mean, people were going there cracking up and laughing, and then so the end of the movie, this is a true story. I go out, I'm not going to name the guy, but this guy goes, hey, you let that little French guy kick your ass? And I punched the guy. I just punched him. I didn't even know. I hit the guy right in the face. And he goes, hey, you're my friend. Why you just hit me in the face? I knocked him back, he's grabbing him in his mouth. And I said, hey, man, no, that guy didn't. I mean, he didn't kick my ass. That guy can't kick my ass, and all this stupid shit was going around in my brain. And I, and I liked Jean-Claude. I loved him. I said, like, I go, like, this is a movie, man. And, get your shit together.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, the movie goes on, David, and basically, next thing I know, I go to places. Hey, you're that guy from Lionheart. You Sonny from Lionheart. Hey, you're this guy. Hey, you want to sit over here? Hey, can I be saying, I never had this happen before. My people asking for my autograph. And so, like, why would you want my autograph?
Mm-hmm.
So that movie got me a 3-picture deal with PM Entertainment. I starred in a movie called The Final Impact with Lorenzo Lamas. I starred in a movie called Maximum Force with Sam Jones. John Saxon was in it. Mickey Rooney was in it. Sonny Landham was in it. All these famous actors. And here I am, Jeff Langton. The guy was the bouncer at a nightclub. And that's when I started going to acting school. And I went to acting school for 4 years. I studied with first Charles Conrad, Chris O'Brien. I give him thanks and praise. And I started with Jeremiah Comey. And then a guy by the name of Victor Campos used to be a fighter for Costa Amato. He was my mentor. And then I became in the master's class, actor studio master's class. So I learned the craft of acting, put my attention outside of myself due to the fact that choiceless awareness is a creative source of acting, putting yourself in an imaginary circumstance and becoming believable.
Let me ask you this, Jeff.
Go ahead.
Because you were very believable in Lionheart. So, and that was before you took formal acting classes. So how many takes did you have to do? Like, did Sheldon Lettich just give you really good direction? Because you knocked it out the park.
Let's put it this way. Sheldon had a vision.
Mm-hmm.
He had a vision. And Sheldon, because Sheldon was an ex-Marine, I give a lot of credit to his discipline as a Marine, because my father was a Marine. Sheldon had a vision, and Sheldon knew how to bring it out of you. Okay? That's why Sheldon's been successful, because his training in the Marine Corps.
That's interesting, because he got really great performances out of Van Damme in Lionheart and Double Impact, out of Mark Dacascos in Only the Strong.
Very experienced at the martial arts, but I think he's a serious actor.
So after Lionheart, you got the 3-picture deal with PM Entertainment. Now, the first film was Final Impact with Lawrence Alamis. So did you even have to audition for that, or did they just say, hey, Jeff, you got a 3-picture deal. Here's one of the films we want you in. This one's yours.
No, I had to go audition for that.